Amazing. All
Okay.
right, let's hear you. Thank you so much. This is absolutely beautiful. The whole album is absolutely beautiful. Which one was that?
That one is called Serafina Lucid Dreamer, Nick. And um, this is a piece that I wrote after my 8-year old and I went to the beach for the first time when lockdown lifted last year. We went down to South Melbourne Beach and we were playing in the sand, and she started playing with this kid. And we all played for a couple of hours, and this jellyfish is grandma and she's going to save the world from the hairy octopus. And it was just so joyful and spontaneous. Um, and then right at the very end, we asked her name. We just hadn't got around to that. We were kind of really involved in the play. And she just looked at us and said, Serafina, like, of course.
Yeah,
How
naturally.
could you not know my name? Yeah.
And was that the first one of this cycle of compositions, or no? For the
That
album?
was one of the last ones, actually. So I
Okay.
was writing during lockdown. My two primary school kids were home and we were doing homeschool, and I was teaching myself online. So it was a pretty busy time, actually. And then this was, because there were no gigs, this was kind of what I was involved in musically, writing these pieces.
And making this into a solo piano album, was it born out of this type of necessity, the lockdown, or was it something that you would do either way?
Oh, I would do it anyway. Yeah, this is my third solo piano album, and it's also, so it's, I guess, the third in that series, but it's a bit of a departure from the other two solo piano albums because they had a lot more improvisation, and this one is all, um, yeah, thanks, John. Uh, this one is mostly all notated, pre-composed. I'll start that
Yeah.
again. So this album is a bit of a departure from the other two because there was a lot of improvisation in those other two solo piano albums, and this one, each piece is notated. There are some improvised sections in a few of the pieces, but for the most part, it's notated, pre-composed. And that was partly because I had a bee in my bonnet as I was writing for the album to be able to present it as sheet music as well. I was reading a lot of sheet music myself, which I love to do for enjoyment. And I just think it's such a magical thing, that the way that via books and sheet music we communicate and receive the art of others over time and distance. And I love putting sheet music that I have no idea what it's going to sound like, putting it on the piano and playing it. And it's a kind of alchemy to just have that moment where the page comes to life and turns into sound. So I've wanted to get more into that because I haven't published much of my prior works via sheet music.
Is this the same when you compose? Do you compose on paper, or you know, or on your piano? I
Sometimes
mean, do
I'll
you need to listen
record
to the?
myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just play and record myself and catch things that I like and work with those. But yeah, ultimately when I'm nailing it down, I write it down. And there's a lot of scribbling and bits of paper everywhere and cutting and pasting with bits of paper. But I like to do it with my hands. I don't work on the screen with a program or anything. I just like scribble. And half the time I won't be at a piano, and so it's like an idea scribble that I just make the manuscript myself because it's once it's on paper I can remember it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And if you had the choice, let's say if you had to choose, would you rather this work be preserved as sheet music or as an actual recording for someone to communicate? Which
Huh.
is the best way for someone to communicate with it?
I guess the recording
Hmm.
because of the intention. Even when I'm playing it myself, sometimes because there's like a racehorse in me that's always trying to speed things up. But actually, I remind myself 3 or 4 times as I'm playing this piece to slow it down and remember the vision that I had that day of the joy of the play. And it's it's a particular feeling that I'm wanting to get across and that I'm wanting to feel again when I play the piece and that I want people to feel when they hear the piece. And it's pretty hard to put that feeling on the paper because it's quite fun to play it really fast, or you could play it super slow and go to sleep to it. But neither of those is really my intention for it.
So, what was your intention?
I'm trying to, as I said, bottle a feeling. It's a feeling about playing and feeling just ideal. The sun's just perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. And that kind of play that kids get into where nothing else matters and they're completely focused, and free to go on kind of flights of whimsy and craziness, unencumbered, and things feel loose and juicy. That's the feeling. I
Yes,
um
that
I
applies
often
to the
think
whole
about
album.
Tolstoy. Yeah. Well, each piece, I guess, has got a different feeling, but I often think about Tolstoy and his definition of art when I'm writing, because he said art is when whatever the medium, the artist feels something and then they put it into the work such that whoever receives the work also feels that feeling. So it's not enough to write a sad song and someone else hears it and they say, yeah, that song is sad. They actually have to feel really decrepit when they hear it for it to have been art, according to Tolstoy's test of art. And um, it's something about feeling things. So each of the songs on the album has got different feelings. Um, None of it's too maudlin, though. There was so much maudlin in 2020. So I guess when I sat down to compose these, I was really looking for some kind of redemption to come from this music. I didn't really want to wallow in the doom surfing feelings. I wanted to compose my way out of those feelings. So they're pretty positive sounds for me. There's not a lot of minor stuff in there this time around, but I guess that even that's subjective. My daughters listen and they say, "Yeah, can we pump up the jam a bit, Mum?"
Yes, but for you, did you
So
get this redemption?
yeah, yeah, I get it. They do for me what I want them to do. There's a piece called Lily on Stilts, which is um, it's a kind of all of them are to do with the tides and emotions rolling in